This and That, episode 118. In this episode I'll be talking about the pestilence, snips from about the Donbas, energy, and the sanctions, things from the US, some crazy stuff on the weapons, and the WEF, and a few snips from about South Africa. Before I start, I want to talk about something that I heard today, and it was a discussion about a speech that Putin made on the 7th of January. Now, I'm trying to find the transcript of that speech, because the things that was discussed is very disturbing. It would appear as if Putin has made peace with himself that Russia will have to fight for its life and for its existence. It is, from what he was saying, it is quite obvious that after the way the West bullshitted Russia with the Minsk agreements and with the volumes of weapons that the West is pumping into the Ukraine, and he made a mention of, do the Western leaders really think that Russia must watch and see the volume of weapons and ammunition that they pour into Ukraine, and a lot of that weapons and ammunition is used against the civilians of the Donbas? Do they really expect Russia to ignore that? And I'm going to do a few single subject skidmarks around this whole fiasco, debacle, fuck up, whatever you want to call it. Because it seems to me that there's a lot of people that are totally oblivious of the mechanisms and operations that has been put into play by the globalists. WEF has made it very clear that they want the white population reduced by 90%. And people hear it and they fucking do nothing about it. They listen to it and they just page on and turn on and scroll on or what the fuck else. But in the meantime, this information that is coming out about the pestilence, it's quite clear that a hell of a lot of people has already died and a hell of a lot is still going to die. But it seems to me that people just look at it and they shrug their shoulders and carry on with their lives. They don't understand that these people are Satanists and they are out to kill us. That's what they're going to do. And they will use every tool at their disposal. But I'm not going to dwell on that now, because I'm extremely disturbed about that thing that I listened to. And I'm going to see if I can cut some snips out of that soundtrack and present it in one of my skidmarks. But the fact of the matter is, Putin has decided he will protect Russia. He will protect the Russian people against the globalists. That's it. And he's the only leader in the West that are actually caring about his citizens. The rest of them are a fucking lot of Satanists. That's it. Satanists. But let's step off that. In any case, I'll get to that in more details. Let's start this off on a nice note for the men among us. Look at this image. This is an image that will be typically entered in the boudoir section of a salon. I like this shot a hell of a lot. I like the lighting. I like the pose of the model. I like the crop. I like everything. This shot will get from me 9, solid 9. if I was to judge it. It is a hell of a nice shot. In any case, if you don't like a shot, tell me in the comments. Then we get to the pestilence. And this is extremely disturbing. More deaths among poisoned Americans is not a reason to avoid the snake bite, expert says. What fucking experts is that? They need to be rolled out, lined up, showed just one of their tweets, say, was this your tweet? Yes, guilty, next, and line them up. This is absolutely, I am fucking astounded that the people are absorbing this shit. And then, look at this. When the mainstream media tell us there is a new, come, read her hand, go fuck yourself. And I agree with that. And then, look at this, look at this. A rise in heart disease may be explained by extreme weather conditions. What a fuck is that? And then you get this interesting one from the FDA in America. The big lie, you are not a horse, you are not a cow. Seriously, you all, stop it. And then the backpedal. FDA says telling people not to take the horse medicine for the pestilence was just a recommendation. They talking kak. Doctors were sanctioned not to prescribe it. Guys were threatened with losing their licenses. Chemists were prohibited from dispensing it. Now that shit. And then we get to the Donbas. Now there's a lot of activity in the Donbas, and it looks like Bakhmut is close to falling. It would appear as if the Russians has taken Soledar, but that Bakhmut is really a horror story. But listen to this. Alexander Botchan-Karchenko. Likewise, the West is turning a blind eye to the Donbas tragedy and the barbaric shelling attacks against civilians by Ukrainian radicals. A lot of children have been killed by the Kiev regime from weapons supplied by the US and EU countries. This makes me fucking angry. And this is what the West is financing, killing civilians. So you Western taxpayers, be happy because your money is used to kill civilians. And then we get this image, and I was reluctant to put it up, but I decided I'm going to show it to you. This is an aerial photograph of Bakhmut. Now this was a thriving little city 4 months ago. Look what is left of it. And yes, the Russians did destroy many of those buildings. Why? Because the Ukrainians used it as fire points. The Ukrainians, there is enormous entrenchments and bunkers and dugouts and what the hell more in that city. It was a fort. They fortified that city. And they did it in between the civilians. Now, this is what they did to Mariupol as well. And then we get this from Germany. Germany is dismantling a wind farm to make way for a coal mine. A wind farm is being dismantled in western Germany to make way for an expansion of an open pit lignite coal mine in a paradoxical situation, highlighting the current prioritization of energy security over clean energy in Europe's biggest economy. Now I can say a lot about that, but all I'm going to say is this. Those fucking scientists in Germany advising the government, they know carbon dioxide is 0.04 or 0.004 of the atmosphere, of which the human contribution is something like 5 zeros and a 4. So That's why they switch back to coal, because it is all a show. It is a show, a scam. And then we get this from Lavrov. Lavrov on rules of rule-based order. They have never approved by anyone. When they first introduced this into the international discourse, we immediately raised our concern and tried to engage them in a rational discussion. However, they were unwilling to do anything of the sort. And this has been the argument of the Russians for a long time. Who makes the fucking rules? And who decides who will have to follow those rules? And then we get to this meme. Everyone has the right to be stupid. It's just that some people abuse the privilege. And how true is that? And here comes a kicker from that Black in the Empire Twitter user. Russia planned on demilitarizing Ukraine and got Europe to demilitarize themselves as a bonus. And that is extremely true. Very true. I was in a debate in Twitter 2 days ago where a guy shat on me because I said the West doesn't have the weapons and ammunition to engage Russia in a ground war. But let's see. And then this from this Twitter user. The USA is the most aggressive imperialist country on the planet. There is only one reason for US foreign policy, and that is the benefit of the US. Forget any thoughts of altruism. It's business and power first. And how true is that? Think about it. But I see so many articles. America is in deep shit. The world has had enough of it. And then we get this from NATO. And this is a reference to that tweet that I read to you earlier about Europe being demilitarized. NATO and EU depleted their military stocks by providing assistance to Ukraine. Alliance Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. And how is that? I've been saying this on my channel for a long time, and I've had a lot of guys shitting on me about it. But here you have it, out of the mouth of Stoltenberg. And then we get this shit from Sweden. The US to boost military cooperation with the NATO hopeful. The US and Sweden have begun talks on a new security deal that will regulate future US troop deployments to the Scandinavian country, which applied to join NATO last year in response to Russia's military action in Ukraine. You can stop the thing and read the rest if you want to. What I'm going to ask about this, how is it that the American people are happy with their soldiers being posted overseas? How is it that the Swedish people don't realize how much negativity comes with a huge American soldier population in their country? There is hundreds of stories of how detrimental US military bases are for the host country. And then we get to this racial shit, and now you must understand this guy that has said this. I want to cleanse this country of all white people. We must act as Hitler did to the Jews. White people in South Africa deserve to be hacked and killed like Jews. You have the same venom, Moses. Look at the Palestine. No, you must be bushed alive and skinned and your offspring used as garden fertilizer. Now that is extremely racist. But here comes the fucking kicker. Look at this guy's title, Valapi Kumalo, Gauteng Arts and Culture Department. How's that? But if we have the old South African flag, it's considered racist and it's prohibited. And then more about this sanction shit. Confiscation of Russian assets will have repercussions. Key points from the Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov's daily briefing. Estonia is attempting to create a legal precedent by confiscating Russian assets. This attempt has no relation to legality. Any move to confiscate Russian assets will have repercussions aimed at all parties which may have supported it. The US and NATO have become the de facto parties to the conflict in Ukraine. The Kremlin does not think its statement regarding the West's involvement in the Ukraine conflict would motivate it increase aid to Kiev. Reality is, I think the West has crossed a hell of a lot of red lines, basically all the red lines that the Russians has drawn, so there's only one option left for them. And then we listen to this fucking insanity from the US and from that crazy geriatric in the shithouse. Biden administration weighs nationwide ban on gas stoves. For fuck's sakes, can the Americans not see that this Biden WEF cabal is busy drawing them into the Stone Age? First they give billions of dollars to the Ukraine and spend it on shit outside the country, while their own citizens are starving, or homeless, or freezing, or on the streets. That's the first shit. Then they fucked your energy systems up with their green shit. And now they want to ban your gas stove. Not very long ago, we were all advised to buy gas stoves to release the pressure on the electricity grids. Now this fucking idiot want to ban a gas stove. If the Americans take this shit, they deserve to suffer. And then we get to the weapon shit. European Union support providing tanks to Ukraine. Ursula von der Leyen has said that she's in favor of providing Ukraine with battle tanks. During the meeting with NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, she said that Kiev should receive all the equipment it needs in order to combat Russia. Stoltenberg also declared support for further arms shipments, including tanks to Ukraine. The same fucking Stoltenberg that today said that NATO is out of stock. The same guy. And look at this. Sweden are going to give this type of shit to the Ukraine. Sweden to transfer Archer artillery systems to Ukraine to push back Russian troops. That looks like quite a capable piece of equipment. Look at that thing. It's actually, for me, I would love to have a 1 in 10 scale model of that, or 1 in 14 scale model of that. Beautiful fucking machine. But the fact of the matter is, the Ukrainians are going to use that to shoot civilians in the Donbas. And then we get to the WEF cock. Johnny tweets this: to hell with you WEF and Cyril Ramaphosa must take his corrupt thug ANC, useless government and footsack. Cyril is not my president. And it is in response to this tweet from the WEF. The President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, will join us at WEF annual meeting on 16-20 January in Davos, Switzerland. My question is, what the fuck is Ramaphosa going to do there? The other question I have is, how much money is the WEF pumping into this guy's back pocket? He is now going to the WEF meeting to get his next set of instructions. The previous set was to vax as many people in South Africa as possible, which he failed miserably, fortunately, due to a lot of factors. And now you must understand, you must not forget this. The WEF talks about useless eaters, and they must be removed. They have got plans to make compost of those people and all sorts of stories. But what is Cyril going to do there now? Is he going to get his instructions how to handle the useless eaters? Because just over the weekend, he himself made a speech in which he said that half of the South African population is on SASSA, that is social grants. So now He's going to find out what to do with the useless eaters. And you fucking stupid racists fighting on Twitter with white people in South Africa. Whites are patriots. You are terrorists. But this guy is planning your end. And then you get this disturbing fucking story which makes me very angry. South African politicians each have 81 police officers assigned to protect them. Let that sink in. 81 per politician. Why the fuck does this man need 81 people to look after him? And then there was this disturbing thing that Doc posted on Twitter. And it was a video showing apparently South African soldiers in Mozambique watching as other soldiers is throwing corpses on that fire. Now it's a story that's ongoing and we're still waiting for more facts. I saw a letter that the Defence Force issued in which they said they will investigate, but they're going to pass it on to some other fucking division because apparently these guys, that is our soldiers that are in the northern part of Mozambique, form part of a SADC contingent and is not under direct command of the South African command. Whatever. And then we get to that moment, that what a fuck moment, and look at this. Our DA, this account does not exist. And then there is a comment there. Elon Musk, after witnessing the DA's latest cringe post about equality and South Africanism, has decided to permanently remove them from Twitter. Now, how true that is, I would not know. I'm still trying to find out, but in the meantime, I'm going to take it on face value and just say, what a fuck DA. Can you believe it? And on that note, please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. And if you are on Twitter, share it to Twitter, and Facebook, please share it to Facebook. Thank you for your support.